welcome to the Cosmic X Stories. Today we will be talking about the story of Enki and Ninmah. In those days, in the days when heaven and earth were created. In those nights, in the nights when heaven and earth were created. In those years, in the years when the fates were determined. When the Anuna gods were born. When the goddesses were taken in marriage. When the goddesses were distributed in heaven and earth. When the goddesses became pregnant and gave birth. When the gods were obliged, their food, for their meals. The senior gods oversaw the work, while the minor gods were bearing the toil. The gods were digging the canals and piling up the silt in Haroli. The gods, dredging the clay, began complaining about this life. At that time, the one of great wisdom, the creator of all the senior gods, Enki lay on his bed, not waking up from his sleep, in the deep Enga, in the flowing water, the place the inside of which no other god knows. The god said, weeping, he is the cause of the lamenting. Ninmah, the primeval mother who gave birth to the senior gods, took the tears of the gods to the one who lay sleeping, to the one who did not wake up from his bed, to her son, are you really lying there asleep, and, not awake? The gods, your creatures, are smashing there, my son, wake up from your bed. Please apply the skill deriving from your wisdom and create a substitute for the gods so that they can be freed from their toil. At the word of his mother Ninmah, Enki rose up from his bed. In Hal and Kug, his room for pondering, he slapped his thigh in annoyance. The wise and intelligent one, the prudent, of skills, the fashioner of the design of everything brought to life birth goddesses. Enki reached out his arm over them and turned his attention to them. And after Enki, the fashioner of designs by himself, had pondered the matter, he said to his mother Ninmah, my mother, the creature you planned will really come into existence. Impose on him the work of carrying baskets. You should knead clay from the top of the Abzu. The birth goddesses will nip off the clay and you shall bring the form into existence. Let Ninmah act as your assistant. And let Ninmah, Kuziana, Ninmah, Ninvarag, Ninmah, and Ninguna stand by as you give birth. My mother, after you have decreed his fate, let Ninmah impose on him the work of carrying baskets. Enki brought joy to their heart. He set a feast for his mother Ninmah and for Ninmah. All the princely birth goddesses ate delicate reed and bread. An, Enlil, and the Lord Nirdimud roasted holy kids. All the senior gods praised him, O Lord of wide understanding, who is as wise as you. Enki, the great Lord, who can equal your actions. Like a corporeal father, you are the one who has the me of deciding destinies, in fact you are the me. Enki and Ninmah drank beer, their hearts became elated, and then Ninmah said to Enki, man's body can be either good or bad and whether I make a fate good or bad depends on my will. Enki answered Ninmah, I will counterbalance whatever fate, good or bad, you happen to decide. Ninmah took clay from the top of the Abzu in her hand and she fashioned from it first a man who could not bend his outstretched weak hands. Enki looked at the man who could not bend his outstretched weak hands, and decreed his fate, he appointed him as a servant of the king. Second, she fashioned one who turned back the light, a man with constantly opened eyes. Enki looked at the one who turned back the light, the man with constantly opened eyes, and decreed his fate allotting to it the musical arts, making him as the chief, in the king's presence. Third, she fashioned one with both feet broken, one with paralyzed feet. Enki looked at the one with both feet broken, the one with paralyzed feet and, him for the work of, and the silversmith and, has. She fashioned one, a third one, born as an idiot. Enki looked at this one, the one born as an idiot, and decreed his fate, he appointed him as a servant of the king. Fourth, she fashioned one who could not hold back his urine. Enki looked at the one who could not hold back his urine and bathed him in enchanted water and drove out the Namcha demon from his body. Fifth, she fashioned a woman who could not give birth. Enki looked at the woman who could not give birth, and decreed her fate, he made her belong to the queen's household, as a weaver, fashioned her to belong to the queen's household. Sixth, she fashioned one with neither penis nor vagina on its body. Enki looked at the one with neither penis nor vagina on its body and gave it the name Ninmah eunuch, and decreed as its fate to stand before the king. Ninmah threw the pinched-off clay from her hand on the ground and a great silence fell. The great Lord Enki said to Ninmah, I have decreed the fates of your creatures and given them their daily bread. Come, now I will fashion somebody for you, and you must decree the fate of the newborn one. Enki devised a shape with head and mouth in its middle, and said to Ninmah, pour ejaculated semen into a woman's womb, and the woman will give birth to the semen of her womb. Ninmah stood by for the newborn, and the woman brought forth, in the midst, in return, this was Amul. Its head was afflicted, its place of, was afflicted, its eyes were afflicted, its neck was afflicted. It could hardly breathe, its ribs were shaky, its lungs were afflicted, its heart was afflicted, its bowels were afflicted. With its hand and its lolling head it could not put bread into its mouth. Its spine and head were dislocated. The weak hips and the shaky feet could not carry it on the field. Enki fashioned it in this way. Enki said to Ninmah, for your creatures I have decreed a fate, I have given them their daily bread. Now you should decree a fate for my creature, give him his daily bread too. Ninmah looked at Amul and turned to him. She went nearer to Amul, asked him questions but he could not speak. She offered him bread to eat but he could not reach out for it. He could not lie on, he could not, standing up he could not sit down, could not lie down, he could not, a house, he could not eat bread. Ninmah answered Enki, the man you have fashioned is neither alive nor dead. He cannot support himself. Enki answered Ninmah, I decreed a fate for the first man with the weak hands. I gave him bread. I decreed a fate for the man who turned back the light, I gave him bread. I decreed a fate for the man with broken, paralyzed feet, I gave him bread. I decreed a fate for the man who could not hold back his urine, I gave him bread. I decreed a fate for the woman who could not give birth, I gave her bread. I decreed the fate for the one with neither penis nor vagina on its body, I gave it bread. My sister, Ninmah answered Enki, you entered, look, you do not dwell in heaven, you do not dwell on earth, you do not come out to look at the land, where you do not dwell but where my house is built, your words cannot be heard. Where you do not live but where my city is built, I myself am silenced. My city is ruined, my house is destroyed, my child has been taken captive. I am a fugitive who has had to leave the Eker, even I myself could not escape from your hand. Enki replied to Ninmah, who could change the words that left your mouth. Remove Amul from your lap, Ninmah, may your work be, you, for me what is imperfect. Who can oppose this? The man whom I shaped, after you, let him pray. Today let my penis be praised, may your wisdom be confirmed. May the Enki and Ninmah proclaim your glory, my sister, the heroic strength, the song, the writing. The gods who heard, let Amul build. My house, Ninmah could not rival the great Lord Enki. Father Enki, your praise is sweet. That's all for today, stay tuned for more and thank you for watching.